Hello everyone. So coming back to the fourth step of Chakra alignment today, we have reached the fourth step, and today we are going to talk about something else than regular exercises and transforming your body, right? Because on the first three steps, what we did is we aligned ourselves, we aligned our physical body, okay? We aligned our spine, we aligned our pains, we regulated the flow of the mind, right? So after all these three stages, what happened is now you are capable enough to understand that you need to change yourself in order for spiritual enlightenment. In order to reach higher chakras, you need to change yourself. So the main problem arises with the people is whenever they are born with specific specific tendencies, specific mindset, specific perception, right? So that specific keeps you bound, right? So in order to clear the boundaries, in order to remove all the boundaries in your life, you need to be out of the world specifications. Okay, you don't have to be specific in things. So what we did in the first three steps is, on the first three steps, I made your mind, I made your intellect work faster, and I helped to connect your physical and muscular body to adapt with the faster progression of nervous system. Okay, so after you open this neck, after you aligned your atlas, after you started the flow and regularized the flow, so now your body is in a condition to accept more of thought, more of observation. Okay, so today we are going to talk about what changes you have to do in order to get in higher frequency, in order to get higher alignment. Okay, so first and foremost, people need to understand that if you are not persistent, I would suggest you should never get into the journey of spiritual enlightenment. See, people are already struggling in being consistent. So being persistent is a very higher step. So until and unless you are consistent, you can't be persistent. And to be consistent, one must understand the need of monogamous discipline. Okay. So in order to be consistent, you need to be disciplined. And in order to follow discipline, you need to understand that monogamy is important in life for the body itself. Your mind wants different things. It's the desires that is creating you, making you want new things. Okay. But the body needs discipline. In Sanskrit, we say the lord of death is yam. Okay. So what keeps yam away? That's niyam. What keeps yam away is niyam. Niyam is discipline. If you are disciplined, if you are following discipline, you are already pushing your that far. Your death comes to you whenever there is a lack of discipline in your life. Okay. Exceptionally, I'm not saying that if you are disciplined you will never die, but yes, you can push for the death. Okay. So coming back, the first thing is discipline. So one must understand that to start a journey of spiritual enlightenment, you must be disciplined enough, and from that discipline, you engrave consistency in your routine. So talking about consistency and persistence. Okay. Let me give you an example. Consider you are climbing a mountain. Okay. You are climbing a mountain and you are trying to be consistent enough that after every 10 kilometers, I will climb 10 kilometers daily. After climbing 10 kilometers, I will put a tent over there. Okay. Next day, you are again climbing 10 kilometers and you are putting a tent over there. Next day, you are again climbing 10 kilometers and you are putting a tent over there. So doing this consistently, regular, day to day, without any break, is called consistency. So first of all, you need to inculcate consistency. I am using the word inculcate because you have to put it inside your life. You don't have to do it just for your spiritual enlightenment. Okay. You have to inculcate the word consistency in your life. If you are not consistency, you are not going to reach anywhere in spiritual enlightenment. You won't even cross the fifth chakra. Okay. You won't even reach the fourth chakra, I would say. You will remain over here in the solar plexus chakra. Okay. That's why we are understanding this first. So consistency is understand you are climbing 10 kilometers daily, putting a tent 10 kilometers daily. Okay. Now what is persistence? Persistence is, after climbing 10 kilometers daily for 1 month, there is a storm. There comes a storm on the mountain. And due to that storm, you fell down 20 kilometers. Okay. So after falling 20 kilometers down, the next morning, you are up with the same enthusiasm. You are up with the same courage. You are up with the same strength. And again, you are climbing 15 kilometers daily because you have lost 20 kilometers in your life. Okay. So now you have decided, let's walk 15 kilometers daily till you are reaching 20 kilometers, and then you again start 10 kilometers. But that 20 kilometer fall is not making you lose your consistency. Now that thing is persistence. Okay, so persistence is when you are consistent, and even after being consistent, you don't get what you want and you fall down. And when you fall down, you again get up with the same enthusiasm. Okay, so for 1 month, you are again reaching to that level. After 3 months, there is again a storm in the mountain. You again fell down 30 kilometers. Okay, now next morning again you are waking up with the same enthusiasm, walking 10 kilometers, doing the same thing again and again and again. Okay, so no matter you fall down 10 times, the 11th time you are standing up with the same enthusiasm. Okay, you are focusing with the same concentration. You are still the same focused on the same thing, right? So that is something which is giving you persistence. Okay, so now I would always have criticizers. So a statutory warning. Let me show you a difference between persistence and being rigid and stubborn. Because many people will say that's called being rigid, that's called being stubborn. You are still walking on that mountain. Why don't you change the path? But see, there is a difference. Being stubborn is, or being rigid is, when the storm is coming, you are still climbing against the storm because you have decided that I have to walk 10 kilometers daily. So even while the storm is going on, you are walking against the storm for 10 kilometers every day, and you are losing half of your energy, you are losing half of your courage, you are losing your enthusiasm. Okay, so that is rigidity, that is stubbornness. Persistence is waiting for the storm to pass. Wait for the storm to pass. Wait for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. After the storm passes, then again start with the same enthusiasm. Okay, but if you are walking against the storm, you are not waiting for the storm to pass. Now that is stubbornness and rigidity. Okay, so there is a small line of difference between being persistent and being stubborn. Okay, stubborn is you are not having patience. Okay, persistence is having patience and enthusiasm. When you are stubborn, you will walk against the storm. But when you are persistent, you will let the storm pass. After the storm has passed away, you are again getting up with the same enthusiasm, going on 10 kilometers daily, 10 kilometers daily. Then again there is a storm. Again you are waiting for the storm to pass. After the storm passes, you are again climbing 10 kilometers, Okay, so you need to be persistent in your journey to spiritual enlightenment. If you are not persistent enough, I am going to say you are not going to reach anywhere if you are going spiritually. Okay, and you have to understand that line of difference between being stubborn and being persistent. You don't have to walk against the storm. You have to let the storm pass away. Okay, after the storm is passed away, then start walking. Right. So I am speaking all this lecture thing over here today on the 4th step is because one needs to get mentally ready as much as we got physically ready in the first 3 steps. Okay, in the first 3 steps, what we did, we got physically ready. In the 4th step, I'm telling you that you have to be mentally ready because it's not an easy job. You are going to fall down 10 times, 15 times, 100 times. So understanding that you need to be mentally ready first. Now, what is being mentally ready in terms of spirituality? In terms of spirituality, when you are mentally ready, that means you are controlling all your senses and your senses are not controlling you. Okay. So primarily there are 5 senses, people say there are 5 senses, okay. But when you dig up into Sanskrit literature, when you dig up into ancient, Egyptian mythology, the Eye of Horus, when you dig up into Buddhism, when you dig up into Greek mythology, okay, all these things say that you have 8 senses. You don't have 5 senses, you have 8 senses. But when you are born, there are few neural transmissions and veins that are not yet functioning. That's why a normal human being is working under 5 senses. Right? After there is enlightenment. So enlightenment is basically the first step of enlightenment is reaching to your 6th, 7th and 8th sense from 5 senses. So it is in order to reach your 6th, 7th and 8th sense, you need to first control your first 5 senses. Okay. So we'll see what does being controlling senses say. So in my perception, I am not going to start with the first sense. I am going to start with the last sense. Okay, the 8th, 7th and 6th sense. Okay. Now consider there are 8 senses, and we divide our body and our brain interpretation in that way. Okay. So 1 out of 8 is 1 sense. The power of that sense is 1 by 8. The power of the second sense is 2 by 8. It means the intensity of that sense controlling you is 2 by 8. Third sense is 3 by 8. Fourth sense is 4 by 8. Fifth sense is 5 by 8. Sixth sense is 6 by 8. Seventh sense is 7 by 8. And eighth sense is 8 by 8, which is 1. So the highest intensity of sense which is controlling you, the most difficult sense to control is the 8th sense, which is 8 by 8, which is 1. Which means you have to totally change yourself in order to control that 8th sense. And in our Sanskrit and Egyptian mythology, the eighth sense is ego and self-respect. Okay. Now some people will think that what I'm speaking about it, but hear me out. Okay. So what is self-respect? Self-respect is something that you respect yourself. You respect your own soul more than the other soul. Okay. Or if you are equally, you respect everyone equally as you respect yourself. Okay. So self-respect is something that is going to trigger you the most in life. Why do people work? They want to have self-respect in the society. 50% of the people marry because they want to have self-respect in the society. They want to fulfill their ego. Okay, in terms of society, 50%. I'm not saying everyone. So normal people work, do things more because of their ego and self-respect rather than what they need in life. Okay, so desires and wants come in your life because of the primary reason of self-respect and self-ego. Okay, there is again a thin line of difference between self-esteem and self-respect. Self-esteem is something else, self-respect is something else. So we'll talk about that. First and foremost, you need to control your eighth sense, which I am saying is your ego and your self-respect. मान सम्मान एक मोह है. Okay. So what if I say that in order to be spiritually enlightened, you need to respect the nature and universe more than you respect yourself? Because in order to follow your intuition, the intuition is coming from the source towards you. Okay. Intuition is coming from source towards you. Now, if you think from yourself, think from your perception, think from your self-respect, you are never going to listen to your intuition. So, in order to listen to your intuition, first you need to remove मैं, I. Okay? And in order to remove I, you either need two things. One is you, another is us. Okay? So, get your focus out from I and me, first of all. There is nothing like you, there is nothing like I, there is nothing like me. When you understand that everything is we and everything is us, and in us is everything of the universe, that is the first step of spiritual enlightenment. The first way of killing down your eighth and the most powerful sense which is controlling you is your ego. Ego and self-respect. I'm using the word self-respect in a different terminology. Don't take it in a different terminology and contradict me that it is important to have self-respect. I know it is important to have self-respect. In my terminology, right now, in what sense I'm talking about is respecting yourself more than others, which is wrong. Okay, learn to respect the universe and universal decisions more than you respect yourself. That's how the first thing you inculcate in yourself is gratitude of getting what you have. Okay. So, the first sense you need to kill is your ego. And I would say, it will take time. It will take time. The second sense is 7 by 8, which is your intellect. Now, why do you need to kill your intellect in order to receive intuitions and sixth sense? Because your intellect will always contradict a non-logical intuition. It is your intellect that is questioning your intuition, and that is why your intuition is not manifesting. Okay, let's give you an example. I am going from home to work. Okay, regularly I take this path. Okay, today my intuition says that let's not go from that path, let's go from this path. Then again, my intellect will say, why? What's the difference? Logically, what change would it make? What is the logical thought about it? What is logically correct? Why should you change your path? Now, this logical thought, your intellect, has contradicted your intuition. And let me tell you, you have 3.4 seconds of time before your logical brain pops up. Okay, just 3.4 seconds before your logical brain pops up. Yes. Why? Your logical brain pops up with the question of why. What? In 3.4 seconds. So if you didn't listen to the intuition in 3.4 seconds, in the 4th second you will have a logical thought which is going to contradict your intuition. And that contradiction will stop you from doing what your intuition is telling you to do. Now, this is the second most thing where spirituality will cut down. Because the logical mind has said, why you are doing it? Give some logical explanation. What the hell will happen in doing such things? Okay. So, it will kill your intuition in the 4th second. So, if you don't follow your intuition in 3.4 seconds, you are going into the confusion of thoughts. Because your intellect has the power of 7 by 8 in controlling you. Okay. So, 8 senses, 8 power. The most effective power and the hardest one to leave is your ego. The first one which I told you, respect other beings more than you respect yourself. Do things for others more than you do things for yourself. Be hungry and give food first. Okay. So that is living your ego. Second is living your intellect, because your intellect is going to question intuition. And in order to understand intuition and in order to accept intuition, you need to leave your intellect aside. I'm not saying be dumb. Keep your intellect aside when you are hearing the intuition. So you need to control your intellect. The second thing, or the third thing is what you say, mind. Your mind is going to question you everything after that. So once you cross those two steps, the first step was killing down the ego. The second step is to control your intellect. Now you are controlling your intellect. Now you are getting the intuitions from the source. So now what will happen? Now your mind is fully active and grabbing intuition. So what will happen? It will continuously show you miracles in your life. Okay, and there is a disadvantage of miracles. When miracles and unnatural things happen in your life, you become more observant towards those miracles rather than utilizing those miracles. Okay, so what will happen? You will get indulged into understanding those miracles and why those miracles are happening rather than utilizing those miracles and understanding what the bloody source is trying to tell you. Okay, now what is something which is confusing you is your own thoughts, is your own mind. So this is where mind control comes. This is where you need to start to meditate. Okay, now if you started meditation before you kill your ego, if you start meditation before you control your intellect, you will not get anywhere. So first, complete the first two steps. After you complete the first two steps, then you come to the third step. On the third step, it is very much important to meditate because now you are receiving signals. And when you are receiving signals, now you need to organize those signals. When you organize those signals, that is the best time to meditate because that's when you need to apprehend. Okay, apprehension comes when you meditate, and to apprehend, first you need to accept. To accept, you need to leave contradictions behind. Okay, so first we kill those two parts. Now we come to the third step, is your mind controls and thoughts. Now on this step, you need to meditate daily, and this is where consistency and persistence comes into light. Spend at least 1 hour at night after you are completing your whole day meditating, thinking about what you have done, what you have seen the whole day, what has been done, what messages have received, what action you have took on these messages, what intuition you have believed in, what intuition you have neglected. Okay, think about the entire day at night and do that regularly. 1 hour, leave everything aside, go in isolation. 1 hour on terrace every day, every night you need to spend in order for the third step, that is controlling your mind. You do this for 1 month, 2 months, the ratio of time will decrease. Then you will complete thinking about your day in 15 to 20 minutes, and the rest of the time you will consider and apprehend your life about what you should do, how you are lagging behind. Okay, so everything will start after that. So in order to reach that, you need to be persistent for 1 to 2 months, and you need to struggle. Okay, struggle. Until you struggle, you are going nowhere in spiritual journey. Okay, so this is the third step where you have to control the mind. Okay, so 3 things: self-respect and ego. After that, intellect. Third was mind. After that is ether. Ether is your vibe field. Okay, and what does your vibe field control? Your vibe field controls your environment. Your vibe field controls your social circle. Your vibe field controls with whom you interact, with whom you meet. Okay, so in order to change your etheric energy, in order to change your vibe, you need to change your circle. Now this is also a hard part for everyone. Why? Number 1, when the body is losing energy, it is going to feel comfortable and feel pleasure. When the body is attaining new energy, it is going to feel discomfort. Okay, so when you are feeling pleasure with someone, when you are feeling comfortable with someone, that opposite person is pulling your energy. I am not saying, okay, if not pulling your energy, it is naturally being directed towards them. Okay, and when it is directed towards them, you are losing your energy. So whenever you are feeling comfortable with someone, you are having loss of energy. Whenever you are feeling discomfort with someone, at that time new energy is coming into you. That's why you are feeling discomfort, because your body needs to adapt to that new energy, new vibe. That's why it is making you feel uncomfortable. So people you feel uncomfortable with are good for you. People you feel comfortable with are actually not good for you. Okay, so the fourth step is changing your social circle. Stop spending too much time with people you are feeling comfortable with. Spend more time with people you are feeling uncomfortable with, so that you will attain new energy, new vibes, okay, and good vibes. And be uncomfortable. You need to love uncomfort. If you love comfort, you are not going to reach spiritual heights, okay, because comfort is keeping you down. Comfort is going to keep you over here, keep your vibes over here. If you want your vibes to go up, okay, your 6th, 7th and 8th chakra, then you need to feel uncomfortable. Because new energy should come over here, and that new energy should rise up and go out, okay? And that process is going to make you uncomfortable. If the same energy is going to radiate in radial field and radial flux around your body, you are already feeling comfortable because it is always going here and there, here and there, here and there. There is no interchange, there is no exchange. That's why you are feeling comfortable, and that comfort is keeping you over here till your throat chakra. Okay. If you want to go higher, the fourth step is changing your social environment, changing your social circle. Be around people that make you uncomfortable. Those people are giving you good and new energy. People who are you being together, you feel comfortable, are actually depleting your energy. Okay, and that is a very hard part in your life, to remove the people you love and be with people you need. Okay, so that is another step. That is controlling your etheric body or your vibes. Okay, so this was the fourth step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we reached the halfway. Now we have reached the halfway. And this was the toughest thing. I would say most people are not going to cross the first step of leaving their own ego aside. 60% of people. Okay, the rest 40%. In the rest 40%. They will cross the line of intellect and they will get stuck in the mind. Of those 40 people who have crossed the intellect and stuck in the mind, only 20% of the people would have that capability and capacity to change their circle, to be around people they are feeling uncomfortable with. Only 20% of the people. The rest 80% of the people are always going to stay with crowd and society they are feeling comfortable with and keep depleting their energy. Only 20% will reach to the fourth step. Okay, so from 100%, we reach the halfway, and on the halfway there are only 20% of people. Okay, so now getting ahead. Getting ahead, the next step is air element. That is your mouth, your smell. Now in order to control your smell, you need to control what you eat. Okay, now the next 5 senses are regular senses, but it is not as hard as controlling those 4 senses. Once you have crossed halfway, your journey becomes a bit easier, a bit, I won't say more. So in order to control your air element, start eating things you hate. Okay, because all the food you think it's tasty. Okay, everyone has a different taste. Everyone needs to eat something they like, something they don't like. Some people like mango, some people like banana, some people like strawberries, some people hate strawberries, some people hate banana. Okay, so what you dislike is actually something your body wants, and what you like is already what your body has. That's why your body is craving for it more. If your body has more carbohydrate, more fat inside the cells, your body is going to attract those things, carbohydrate and fat. That's why you are going to love bananas. If your body has more citric acid and vitamin C, your body is going to attract the same thing, and that's why you are going to like oranges. So now what we have to do, if you like banana, you have to bloody eat oranges for 7 days continuously. If you like oranges, you have to bloody eat bananas for 7 days continuously, although you don't like it. So the next sense is getting adapted to things you dislike, because your body needs things you dislike. In our Sanskrit literature it is said, you should behave like an enemy with your body and like a friend with your soul. શરીર સાથે દુશ્મનની જેમ રહેવાનું, આત્મા સાથે મિત્રની જેમ રહેવાનું. Okay, so behave like an enemy with your body, right? So you need to first understand, make a list of things you like, make a list of things you dislike. After making a list of things, start eating things you dislike. Take one fruit, eat for 7 days continuously, the fruit you dislike. Take one vegetable, eat for 7 days continuously, the vegetable you dislike. Okay, you need to remove that thing inside your mind that you like and dislike things. Nobody likes and dislikes anything in a spiritual journey. People accept things in spiritual journey. You don't have likes and dislikes in enlightenment. Okay, you follow the universe and source. Okay, so this was the 5th step, which is controlling your smell sense. And for controlling your smell sense, you need to inculcate and educate yourself that there is nothing like liking and disliking. Okay, so the next step is obviously about fire sense, which is your eyes. And for that, you need to spend more time watching the sun and watching the moon. Technically, biologically speaking, your body needs more melatonin in order to understand, in order to enhance our metabolism, enhance immune system. That melatonin is released in presence of vitamin D, and vitamin D is produced in the body because of sunlight and calcium. Okay, so what you have to do, you need to wake up early. Not as early, I won't say wake up at 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Okay, normally wake up around the sunrise, around 7:30 p.m. That's also fine. Around 8 is also fine. Don't wake up after 8:30, after 9. Okay, sorry, 8:30 is also okay because it's a tamasic time. Tamasic is giving you transformation in life, so it's okay if you wake up around 7:30 to 8:45. Okay, after waking around those time, this time especially when you are controlling the eye sense. Okay, I'm not telling you to wake up that early. If you are controlling the first 4 senses, you need to wake up around 4 to 6. After crossing the four steps, when you are coming to 5th, 6th and 7th step, you need to wake up around 8:30. Okay, that's going to give you transformational energy in your body. So watch sunlight for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, stare at the sun and stare at the moon at night, but only the full moon. Stare at sun regularly, and for the moon only stare at the full moon for 15 to 20 minutes. For sun it is 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, and drink a lot of water before you are planning to watch sun. This is going to active your occipital veins. This is going to active your melatonin in the body. This is going to active and enhance your vitamin D productions. So it is important that for the next step you do sun gazing. Sun gazing is a very much important next step for controlling your senses. And what you say, it is also going to affect your spontaneity. It is also going to affect your spontaneity, because as soon as more melatonin is produced, you are getting more and more spontaneous. Right. The next sense is 2 by 8, which is very easy to control, is your water sense. And water sense is something that is giving you taste and it is giving you hunger. So you need to control and maintain your eating habits. You have to eat breakfast at the same time. You need to eat lunch at the same time. You need to eat dinner at the same time. And when you sleep, you need to take a glass of milk at the same time. Eat 4 times. The fourth thing is milk. Okay. Apart from that, I won't suggest going vegan. Never go vegan in your life. Okay. That's going to kill yourself one day. Don't go vegan. Milk is very necessary. So take milk. Last thing at the night, same time. Take breakfast, lunch and dinner at the same time. Every day. Now this is the most difficult persistency. Okay. This is where you need to be persistent. You need to have lunch, dinner and breakfast at the same time of the day, every day, throughout your life. If you are going to be spiritual, if you want to go into spiritual enlightenment. Okay. And last but not the least is your touch sense. Touch sense is your skin. It also controls your sexual desires. It also controls your sleeping habits. Okay. So first and foremost, keep specific moon phases when you are going to have sex. Okay. And be specific on those terms. If you are deciding that for your body astrologically it is good to have sex on the 8th phase of moon and 5th phase of moon, have sex only on those 2 days. Okay. You need to control your sexual energy. You need to control your horniness, being frank. Okay. Because every time you have sexual intercourse, you are changing your entire vibe field. Okay. Internally and externally. With the opposite person. Okay. So, keep specific days. Because there are some days on moon phases where you feel the most desire for having sex. Your body will crave opposite sex, okay? But on that day, be controlling. Don't do it. Keep specific days when you have sex. Don't do it anytime, any day. Have a routine for that also. Okay. And the second thing for controlling that sense is very easy. Sleep and wake up on the same time. On the same time, I mean in an interval of 45 minutes to 90 minutes. In that interval. Okay. If you decide that you will sleep from in between 11 to 12, 15, you sleep during that time. If you decide you will sleep around 1:30 to 2:30 or 2:45, sleep around that time. I'm not saying that you sleep on 11 p.m., sleep on 12 p.m. Whatever time you fix, keep an interval of 60 to 90 minutes of time on which you need to sleep and 60 to 90 minutes of time on in between what you need to wake up. Make a routine, okay, of your sleeping habit. So these were 8 senses of the body, and to control these 8 senses, you need to be persistent. To be persistent, you first need to be consistent, and to be consistent, you need to be disciplined. Okay. So this was a statutory 4th step, and a warning for all those people who are getting into the spiritual journey that it is not as easy as you think. If you are crossing the first 3 steps of physical alignment, now there is the 4th step of mental capability. You need to enhance your mental capability, and for that, you need to add and inculcate these 8 steps in your life. After you add these 8 steps in your life, after that you can go to the 5th steps for what I am going to come tomorrow. Okay, thank you for joining. Signing off after the 4th step of chakra alignment, which was basically your mental training. Tomorrow we'll come back and understand the 5th step is how to wake up every day. Okay, thank you everyone.